All right, well, Ken has reached out to us. He is super confused right now why he has not heard back from Renee after just kind of a happy hour date.
Yeah, they went to Jack Willie's. He said they both have kids. They're both a little bit older. He said she was well established and they kind of liked where they were in their lives. And so he felt good about going out. And they had talked about going out on another date, but he has not heard from her now that he has been trying to reach her.
All right, we have Renee on hold right now. We're going to bring her back on. Renee, you there?
Hey, yeah.
Hey, listen, I know this is super confusing, and I know you talked to Kevin off the air. We just want to ask you a couple questions about this date you went on with a guy named Ken.
Okay.
Is it okay if we talk to you real quick on the air?
I mean, I don't really know what else there is to say, but yeah.
Well, here's what we know. He said that you guys had a really good date, did a little happy hour, drinks, appetizers over at Jack Willie's, and said that you guys, kind of really shared a lot and you had a lot to talk about. And he really felt that there was a connection there. Even when he dropped you off, he said that you guys talked about going out on another date. So did something happen since that date that you can tell us about?
Look, he seems like a great guy. I had a good time when we were at the happy hour spot, but he's got a lot of stuff going on, and I don't need to get involved in any of that.
He's got a lot of stuff going on. Is that what you said?
Well, he's got like an ex-wife, and he's got a child, and it seems like that stuff is messy.
But you have kids too, right?
I do have a child, yes.
Okay. What's the problem with him having a kid then?
I don't have a problem with him having a kid. I have a problem with the amount of time and the manner with which he seems to be kind of, all right, fine. So we go on this date. It goes great. He seems awesome. And on the way home, he's like, hey, I have to take this call, which is, cool. And he pulls the car over, hops out, and for 20 minutes kind of paces around the car talking on the phone. And I'm just sitting there being like, oh, like what, what's going on? Like, this is kind of weird. Just like sitting in this guy's car. And then he gets back in, and I'm a little pissed because I'm just sitting there.
Yeah.
And he's like, it was my ex-wife. We had to talk about my son. And immediately I feel terrible because I was like, all right, I get that. Saying that he had, his son is having, some issues at school, and his ex-wife wanted to catch him up on something because apparently there was a parent-teacher conference that night and he didn't go. Like his ex-wife went, and then she just was catching him up. And I was just like, you know what? I'm not trying to come out hot against how anybody parents. I get it. I am co-parenting with my former spouse too. But I don't need to get involved in I don't go to this. I do go to that. We can't speak. We can. We this. We that. It's just I kind of gently was talking about it because we had both mentioned that we're both divorced at a happy hour, but we didn't really get into it because yuck. But then he I'm kind of pressing him a little bit to be like, okay, so what's going on with your son? How is that relationship going? This, that, the other. And basically trying to be why didn't you go to this parent-teacher conference? And he's just like, this is my only night to go out.
Oh, wow.
And I wanted to go out with you. I didn't want to be with my ex-wife, blah, blah, blah. And it's just there's still too much emotion, and there's still too much, everything just felt really loaded and weird. And I was just like, I don't know that we have the same priorities, and that's fine, but then I'm out.
Renee, here's the deal. We have Ken on the other line. I want to bring him back on because he's the one that reached out. That's how we got your number.
He just heard everything you had to say about
Excellent.
Hey, Ken, you there?
Yes, I am.
Hey, so does that sound accurate? I mean, you missed out on maybe a parent-teacher conference because of your date?
Listen, yes. Look, I have my 2 weeks. She has her 2 weeks, okay? This was her 2 weeks. Every month, I always give up at least one of my weeks to go and do stuff because she can't make it. And this wasn't going to be one of those times. I have to have time for myself. All right, so this time it happened to be pretty bad. The kid gets suspended. So, whatever. When she called me, I told her, listen, sit in the car, get on your phone, play. I just need to talk to my wife for a minute. So I talked to her for a minute. And
ex-wife, by the way.
Not a big deal.
Yeah, there's a lot. See, there's a lot going on with this. No, thank you.
Well, Ken, let me ask you a question. Do you think you could have taken that phone call somewhere else?
Well, she called twice, so it seemed important.
Well, it's about your son.
Like-
yeah.
You knew she was coming to go meet with the school, so
I know. And so I was worried about my child. I really think you're making too much of this.
Well, you're in the middle of a date. You're taking a
Thank
call
you.
from your ex-wife. However, it is about your son. You're not at a parent-teacher conference.
Well, I told you, it was her 2 weeks. This was her time. I got to have a life. I have to move forward. How am I ever going to meet someone if I can't move forward?
Yeah, it's not with me, dude. So whoever you get, that's amazing.
Okay, all right, whatever. Yeah, call me a bad. Okay, sure, I'm bad. I'm a bad dad.
Didn't say that.
Go ahead. I'm just getting it from everybody, I guess.
Well, no, man, I'm not trying to pass any judgment. We're just trying to get to the bottom of this. And Renee expressed what bothered her about the date. You asked us to get a hold of Renee, so that's what we were just trying to do.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like I can win. It seems like I'm getting blamed from both sides. I'm just trying to make this work. That's all.
All right, well, Renee, I'll ask you the question. Even though I think I know the answer, I mean, is this going to be a deal breaker for you?
I'm not going out with him again.
Okay. Well, Ken, at least you got an answer on that.
Great.
All right.
Thanks.
That's great.
Okay. Well, I wish you luck, Ken. Renee, thanks for your time. You guys have a great day.
All right.
Thank you.
Oh.
Renee ain't joking. There's a lot going on in that guy's life.
20 minutes is a significant amount of time. I know it's your kid, but man, can't you cut that down just a little bit on a first date? That's excessive time.
But he goes, it was her 2 weeks. And it's like, well, but it's your kid.
That's
Correct.
I know.
Full-time parent, right?
I think I was kind of feeling bad for Ken a little bit because I think he's just trying to do. But then he was like, "Was her weeks?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but when it comes to your kid, you don't. Everybody's weeks or days are off the table. That's your kid.
Yeah.
You got to show up. You know, it doesn't matter if it's your time to have the kids or her time to have the kids.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't.
A lot of parents in the QYK family. Can't wait to hear from them right now. 800-992-1099. 800-992-1099. Hit us up right now.